Good afternoon and welcome to the Rotary Club of Kerrville. At this time, I would like to invite everybody to check into the world. Let them know what we're doing in Kerrville, Texas via social media, and also to silence your cell phones and everybody on Zoom to silence themselves so we can enjoy this presentation today that I'm looking forward to. So at this time, if I could please have David Martin come up and join us or lead us in the prayer and pledge, please.
Good afternoon. Let us pray. Dear God, we thank you for the fellowship and opportunities to serve that we find in Rotary. Guide us to live by the Rotary motto and help us discern truth and fairness in our daily life and to be of service to others. We pray for the people in Ukraine, that those that live in fear may find peace through their faith in you. Please bless this meal and the hands that prepared it. In your name we pray. Amen. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
George is here.
Okay, we're going to celebrate St. Patrick's Day a day early. St. Patrick's Day is tomorrow. So and this is for Kenneth. This is probably one of your favorite songs, Kenneth. So yeah. When Irish eyes are smiling, sure it's like a morning spring. In the lilt of Irish laughter, you can hear the angels sing. When Irish hearts are happy, all the world seems bright and gay. But when Irish eyes are smiling, there you go, sure they'll steal your heart away. Hey, good job.
Thank you, George. Please be seated. This time I'm going to ask Clint Morris to come up and introduce a very dear friend of mine and a brother Marine that's going to give a presentation today.
Well, thank you very much, President Jeff. We've heard earlier from a national group that is training veterans assistance dogs, but we have a very active organization right here in Kerrville doing the same thing, and we wanted to hear from them and also allow me to refute Tim Cooney's allegation that I'm a cat lover. So our speaker was born and grew up, he was born in Waco and grew up in Austin. And after high school, our speaker enlisted in the United States Marine Corps, as you now know, and subsequently served in Vietnam as a part of the 1st Marine Division, 1st Recon Battalion as a sniper and advanced recon person to locate enemy concentrations. And maybe President Jeff can tell us more, but that doesn't sound like much fun to me. So he earned,
we'd have to kill you.
he earned numerous medals, including the Purple Heart. Following his military service, he graduated from the University of Texas with a degree in accounting. There followed a career in the VA and the Department of Treasury. After retirement, he's been very involved in Veterans Affairs, serving as the commander of the Kerrville Order of the Purple Heart, the American Legion, and the Veterans of Foreign Wars. He currently serves on the Kerr County Commissioners Court Veterans Advisory Committee, the Gillespie County Veterans Council, and is a member of the Hill Country Veterans Council, through which he is closely involved in the staffing of the Kerrville VA Hospital. He also now serves as the president of the board of the Veterans Assistance Dogs of Texas in Kerrville, a nonprofit providing service dogs to disabled veterans. He has been married for 47 years to his wife, Harriet. a Kerrville native and Tybee and UT grad. Please give a especially warm Rotary welcome to our speaker, Byron Warren.
Thank you. I don't know how we work this day, but if you, pardon? I don't look that good. I don't know how to start the slide, so details. Oh.
One moment, please.
All right.
And do we do the slideshow icon down below, or just do it this way? Pardon? Okay. Well, thank you for letting me speak to you guys today. It's really a joy. I've been in Kerrville, retired for the last 15, 16 years, and getting into the Kerrville life. But anyway, I enjoy it being here with you, and hope today that we have some exchange of knowledge about my organization here in Kerrville. VA Dogs are Veterans Assistance Dogs of Texas, and it's really an ink at the end, but we nickname ourselves VA Dogs. It's easier to talk about it when we meet with other people around the state. Now, we do this on a statewide basis. We're just not Kerrville, but we're based here in Kerrville, and all of our activity is in Kerr County and surrounding counties. So before we get into the presentation, joining me today is John and Susie. John is one of our veterans, and Susie is one of our service dogs. And John's basically a very important part of our program. He comes to all of our presentations if we ask him, and he travels around to let people hear a little bit about him and Susie. I'm going to turn this over to John for about a few minutes before I get into my presentation.
I have Susie here with me because she's like a security blanket to me. You've seen the comedy strip Charlie Brown and his blanket. Well, she's my security blanket. At any rate, yeah, I just wanted to tell you what an animal like this can mean to a quote unquote disabled veteran. Now I feel like I'm an enabled veteran because of Susie. And this animal will do anything that I can make her understand that I'd like her to do for me. Absolutely anything. She amazes me every day. She's, I call her my entertainment center also, because I never know what kind of antics she's gonna pull next. In other words, she's an unpredictable female. At any rate, so, you know, and Byron said, well, John goes to the events, presentations for in support of VA dogs, and I do. I think it's the very least I could, it's not only an honor, I think it's an obligation. Because there's no way I could have paid money to have a dog trained like that. Now it's over, what, $20,000 to $25,000 to train a dog. It was bad enough when Susie was trained over 10 years ago, or about 10 years ago. It was 10 to 12,000. Now it's double. Well, like everything else, I suppose. But at any rate, like I say, it's not only an honor, but a duty to help out VA dogs. So thank you very much for coming, and and listening to our presentations. Thank you.
Next slide. Sure. Is that okay, John? He wants you to move that, you, Susie, to stand toward the back so they can see you and the dog after the presentation. Sure. Next slide. This slide tells a little briefly about who we are. We are a 501c organization located here in Kerrville. And we started here in Kerrville, originated from the Elks Lodge, or the Elks. This is where VA Dogs got started. And from there, it did grow into its own organization. Now, the Elks are very instrumental to the VA Dogs being created. The Elks do quite a few veteran programs, and service dogs happen to be one of them. We had an office in a small campus at one time off of Spur Road, over where the National Cemetery is located in that area of Kerrville. We had, I think, 10 acres, a couple of cabins, and an office. That's where we would take our veterans for actual on-site training with their dogs, and they would sleep overnight, sometimes weekend, in the cabins provided. But from that, we grew into a 20-acre campus, which is located just barely into Gillespie County off of Thrill Hill Road. As you go out I-10 West, where the speed limit goes from 75 to 80, that exit is the exit for our campus. There we have a house, two small houses, and a kennel that can hold up to 20 dogs. We needed space to house our dogs to cut down on costs from kenneling our dogs that we found or that we contracted with. Next slide. This is a team of VA dogs. Verla Berner is our executive director, and Travis is the gentleman who is a Navy veteran who has probably been out of the Navy maybe 5 years, 6 years. He has a good rapport with the veterans when they contact our organization to apply. In the application process, sometimes it can be confusing for the veteran, and Travis gets with them and handholds them through the application process. Rose is our trainer on campus. One of the things that we do train dogs and VA dogs is for diabetes. That's not normally done in a training environment dog, but she has skills to train the dog in diabetes and with a veteran with that disease. The Hill Country Dog Center, which we'll talk about a little bit later, is where our trainers of dogs and also the trainers of our veterans also are located. They're at Pipe Springs, which is outside of out of Bandera. And their campus is about maybe 40 acres. That organization not only trains our service dogs, but they train war dogs for the military under contract, search and rescue dogs, and police dogs. So it's a quite active campus. They have a training facility out there that actually brings the recipient of a dog, whoever it may be, from the military, police, or search and rescue people. That's where our veterans also go to be trained. Next. Applications for a VA dog is located on our website. The website address is on the screen ahead of you. Our veterans have to be minimum at 50% disabled, granted by the VA. And we use rescue dogs from kennels local or from neighboring counties. We have agreements or discussions with the kennels around the county and in Bear County, San Antonio. If they find a dog that comes in that may meet our basic criteria, we'll take a trip out and take a look at the dog. The dog that we usually look for or accept right off the bat is usually the retriever Labrador breeds. However, we've had a couple of dogs that are mixed, whatever, and they're probably mid-size dog versus the large retriever size. And that reason is we usually have a veteran application that we're trying to match to a dog. Now, we just don't take every dog and say, here's our inventory, and well, then now let's go find a veteran. Usually we have off the application a veteran who has specific issues, whether it's PTSD or it has mobility issues or it has anxiety issues. Sometimes a mid-size and small dog is actually what the veteran needs for their particular issue. So it's not always the big sturdy dog you see, like Susie, but sometimes we have a mid-sized dog or a small dog that is trained as a service dog for a particular veteran. The dogs that don't complete our course are always, we always find a forever home for them. Now, when I say don't complete the course, they're not really a failure because there's no dog in our program that is a failure. They're all good dogs. They all get trained with some basic skills. But through our training, we have certain criteria that must be met and trained to be a certified service dog. Halfway through the program is where we really get into the service dog skills. That's where the dog may fail. An example, one of our recent failures, is not the right word. The dog gets car sick. So no matter how much we train that dog for actual skills to serve as a veteran, dog that continually getting car sick, we haven't found a veteran or veterinarian service that knows how to cure dog car sickness yet. So that dog went to a forever home. We also had dogs that we call runners. We've all had that kind of dog in our life or our fence. They get out of your fence backyard and then it's a shot across the fields and never to be seen again. We affectionately call those dogs runners. A service dog cannot be a runner. If the leash is dropped or something that separates the tethered veteran and dog, the dog should stay close to the veteran, no matter what. But that's another reason for failure. And that's the word failure is not exactly the correct word. But we do recycle these dogs to families and they become very, very good part of the family they go to. Next slide. The veterans issues that we usually see off the application for a service dog is the biggest one is PTSD. Now, most of our veterans, I would say in our program, I would say a good 50%, 60% are PTSD. However, we also have people who have some physical handicaps. We have trained dogs that are suited to service a veteran who drops keys, forgets to close the refrigerator door, doesn't turn off the lights, or that kind of habitually kind of habits. The dogs are trained specifically for that veteran's need. Again, when we train our dogs, we have a dog going into our program that's pretty much targeted for a veteran from their application. So we know what really the need of the veteran is. After the veteran and dog meet and greet, and they are somewhat compatible socially, the dog likes the veteran likes the dog, then we go into that part of training that's made, really tailor-made for that veteran. Whether it be a social skill or the PTSD issue. We also have veterans who have isolation problems. And that's not exactly PTSD, but they get these isolation problems are solved usually with the dog being a companion and also a partner in life in whatever they do. The issue we have with the dogs with the veteran specific skills, most of the time, our veterans are in working age group or they still have jobs. Having to go back to work, being socially active with the community, with their service dog is a big plus to the veteran and also to the community. They are not isolated or they're not hidden away any longer. They go out and interact with the workforce. They go to work with the veteran, and they are a partner really in the veteran reentering society, basically. We had a teacher in Comanche County who was basically living in her closet. With her service dog and some training and some time, she is now back teaching in the classroom. She teaches 4th grade. Her daughter, who basically took care of her mother for every need, now can leave her mother alone. The mother now goes, this teacher now goes to the grocery store on her own with her service dog. But she and her service dog are now back into the classroom, and they are active in the classroom together. To us, that is what we're all about, is getting a person or a veteran recycled into where they came from and also their chosen profession, which with this lady was teaching. And the plus with the dog, according to our teacher, is that the kids and the dogs bonded quicker than she bonded with the kids. So it was a plus. Next slide. We have different phases in our training schedule. And I mentioned that we do have failure in our training, but we used to go to the standard training schedule of a phase 1, a phase 2, and phase 3. And by service dog standards, which are nation and statewide standards, phase 1 is basically simple commands. 2 is learning a particular skill. And 3 was really the phase of training the dog and the veteran together. Well, we found that we could consolidate our training and save some money in our program by going down to 2 phases. Phase 1 being the basic commands, obedience commands. In phase 2, we've combined training the veteran and the dog particularly to the needs for that particular veteran. It saves us quite a bit of time and money. The training usually goes on phase 1 about 4 weeks, maybe a little longer, depends on the dog. And the phase 2 is really about 4 to 6 weeks. And I'll have to say here, it's usually depending on the veteran. At this level, the training of the veteran, it may be more intense, is a good word, than training of the dog. When we get down to our certain level of training, we have an outside certification person who comes in and certifies that this dog and its skills and its levels is a service dog. How we do that, we usually take the dog and the veteran sometime, but usually just the certifier, and we'll go to a grocery store. We'll go to a hardware store. We'll go to an outdoor event. And there are certain skills that a service dog has to perform to be certified in testing. The dog can't walk up to a child and steal his candy. It can't nose in the guy's or person's grocery bag and see what they got. There are certain things that the dog must do in public. One mishap, this certification process, the judge will fail the dog. Now we have a chance to recycle that particular testing event, but they don't allow us to do it, or anyone else to do it within, say, a couple of weeks. We have to go back and wait and train some more, usually 3 to 4 weeks before we can be tested with our certifier. It's a very strict criteria that they look at our dog and how it performs in public. And I mean really in public. And it's done with every service dog and every service dog organization that I'm aware of to be certified to have a card-carrying service dog. Our service dogs, when they graduate, they get a vest from VA dogs. In that vest, they'll have a card inside the vest saying that they are trained by VA dogs and they have completed the criteria that makes this dog a certified service dog. The card is also, a similar card is also provided to the veteran for their wallet. So if someone says, well, is that really a training dog? Is that really a service dog? He can, or she can, provide a card, certified card by us saying, yes, this is a service dog. This is sometimes, but not so much recently, but sometimes useful when they try to check into hotels or motels. And the operator of the hotel motel does not believe or does not allow service dogs to be in the room with the veteran outside of the Texas law. By Texas law, that is, they cannot refuse a service animal to go with a veteran inside like a hotel. So that's one way to say, yes, this is a service dog. Another criteria that, or two others, is one of it is transportation, usually airplanes. The airlines have really cracked down on what is a service dog coming on board with the veteran. At the check-in level at the airports, our certification cards with the dog with the vest really is a gate opener. The other issue we have is that when you go into an environment like food or restaurant, and they say, no, you can't do this, you can't bring your animal in. If the veteran really is insistent in taking their animal into this place, he can produce a card that's saying that animal is a certified service dog, and by Texas law, that they are allowed to do so. If the restaurant owner persists, of course, he has the option of choosing another restaurant. But that does occur less nowadays than before. We had a case where a veteran, through his misdeeds, got his 4th DWI, and the county wanted to send him to incarcerate him. Well, sending the veteran with PTSD issues, this veteran had serious PTSD issues, without an animal in a 10 by 10 room would have been simply deadly. So we had to testify and show up in court to produce documentation that this is truly a veteran with a service dog. In Texas, there are 16 facilities that will allow a veteran to be incarcerated with a service dog. They're scattered around the state pretty far away. Then there's one here to Kerrville that I know about is in San Angelo. There's another one in Dallas area. So this person was in a Bear County courtroom, which we had to testify and show proof. And the veteran and the dog were incarcerated for his sentence. It was a time, I think he went to San Angelo with his service dog. But that does come up once in a while, and putting a serious PTSD veteran in a 10 by 10 after living with a service dog or going through some medical issues is not very a good idea, period. Next. On average, VA dogs has about 65, 70 veterans in the queue with their applications. We don't have enough dogs for every veteran that comes into our application. We have as many dogs as money allows. We have a budget and we have fundraisings and we have grant processes to fund our organization. If we have, the more money we have, the more dogs we have. It is a simple evaluation. This last year, with money raised from organizations, from donations to grants, I think our budget is around $100,000. We have a 90% ratio of funds going to our program. That's 10% for administration, salaries and whatnot. Our dog cost is usually $25,000 to $20,000 a dog. What this cost includes is the trainer, kenneling, food over a period of time. We also, when the veteran comes in to be trained with their dog, we also cover that cost. So the veteran, again, is not out any money in training to receive a service dog. And with that in mind, training the veteran is one of the most important part of our program. The veteran usually has no knowledge or has very limited knowledge of how to take care of a dog, much less a service dog. With a service dog, John will probably testify, you just can't give them snacks off the table. like you might do your personal pet. You can't do, and for them to be functioning as a service dog. There are certain rules that the service dog and the owner must respect for them to continue to be serviceable as they were trained. Training the veteran is a big deal. The veteran must understand the role of a service dog, the role of a dog in that capacity, and the continual habits he must or she must continue for the service dog to be a service dog. This includes at the 1-year anniversary of their award of their dog to come back for a refresher course. Are you doing okay? What problems may have arisen with your dog and its performance? It's not doing what we trained it to do. Does it need some remedial training and that sort? So that's also very important. So I would say of the 2/3 of our program, training program, 2/3 are dog and 1/3 is the veteran. And sometimes the dog fails because the veteran really failed. Or does not want to respond or does not want to participate. And that's unfortunate because then we have to recycle the dog. And the veteran has a chance to come back, but usually with a different dog. And that takes a totally new process, a new cycle. But the training of the veteran is very, very important to us, and it's intensive. Next. Oh, before we go further, this next week, we have 6 dogs and 6 veterans graduating. They will be going through the last bit of their program at Pipe Creek Kennels out in Bernie, and they will go home with their dogs. And that's a big deal for us, 6 dogs. We have 3 dogs in training for various veterans, and we have a couple of dogs in the kennels waiting to enter into the training phase. We're very fortunate to have connections with the U.S. Air Force in San Antonio, where the National Training Dog Training Center is now located for all military services. At times we get their rejects. The dogs are too nice to be a war dog, so we get them. And they're usually great dogs and at no cost. Once in a while, well, we get 3 or maybe 4 a year, but we get the Air Force War Dog Training rejects, which is okay. This works. Okay. Next one. Our board members are really intense about the veteran being serviced with a service dog. Of the board, 3 of us are veterans ourselves. Jerry Ashby was in the Navy, a Brownwater Navy PT boat on the rivers in Vietnam. And I was in Marine Corps in Vietnam, and one other veteran was in the Army and did 2 tours of Vietnam. So we have on our board, majority of us are veterans, and we have some knowledge of veterans issues. Not to say we're the greatest social connectivity to veterans and veterans' needs, but we've been there. And when we talk to veterans and we talk about them and their service dogs, we kind of understand their language. As you may have experienced, when you talk to particular veterans in from certain services, the language and the communication is a little bit different than a civilian to civilian or civilian to military. There is some differences, that minor, subtle differences that make a big difference in how you talk to each other, what your terms are, or what your values are. We understand this, and we are very astute to the veteran being serviced by an animal, a service dog. Our Pipe Creek partners, all of them are veterans. The owner of the kennel is career Air Force, San Antonio dog training, and his 4 trainers are all Marine Corps. And 3 of them were Afghanistan, and 1, I think he never left the States. However, he guarded the beaches of California and no one invaded, so he did pretty good. But all of our people in our organization are very attuned to the veteran and the service dog that we give them or afforded to them, and it improves obviously their lives and their skills the meeting with the general public. Let's see, that's it. So covered all of that. One of the other reasons of obvious is our patriotic duty to our veterans. The three of us on the board that are Vietnam veterans, our return to the United States wasn't always the most pleasant. And we have all of us have stories and memories that are not very pleasant at that time period. We have all made comments and obligations that shall never happen again on our watch. And therefore, all of our Afghan, Iraq, and veterans are coming in. We really are attuned to their language and to their needs and their respect. And so it's a patriotic issue with us, and we carry it very strongly on our sleeves. Well, down to the last, okay. I am open to any questions you may have. Yes, sir.
I'm just curious, on your slide, you talked about a certain age, about what certain age do you dog will be?
Our dogs we found in trainings, be able to be trained is usually 1 to 1.5 years old. So if we get a puppy, we have to kennel, and we want to keep the puppy for training. It's good breed, good stock. We have to kennel that dog until it's of age that training will take hold. Depends again on the breed. Golden retrievers are easier to train at a younger age. Labradors, retrievers, they have to be a little bit older. There's a lot of things involved with that. Our Heinz 57 dog is usually about 1 to 1.5 years of age. But you can't do them too young. They don't pay attention. Their skills are of getting something and keeping that skill with them is short-lived. Yes, sir.
What's the typical training day for the dog?
The typical training day for a dog that I'm aware of is about 4 to maybe 5 hours long. And in that 4 hours, they'll go through certain commands and play games. And the games they play are really learning the basic skills of sit, stay, follow me, heel, and that sort of thing. When we get down to training for the veterans' needs per se, and I'll use the example of one of our veterans who had to leave the refrigerator door open, his doors open to his house, and all his lights on. Well, that training took about 4 weeks, and it's about 2 to 3 hours a day. Now, in between the training sessions, they're not continual. They're an hour here and an hour there. They play games. And the games that the dog plays is usually related to what they're being trained for. But it's not a straight 5 or 4 hour session. They do an hour here, an hour there, but no more than I'm aware of 4 to 5 hours a day. Yes, sir.
What kind of services does the dog provide for a diabetic?
To adapt, I didn't hear the last part. To a diabetic? That's very interesting. We were not really, as an organization, attuned to service dogs with diabetic service skills. It is all about smell, as I understand it. Our trainer, Rose, is she's very skilled at doing diabetic dogs. Our Pipe Creek dog trainers, they don't do diabetic dogs. They don't know how to really, but Rose is teaching them. It's about scent. And it's like maybe with a veteran with a disease, may have epileptic. Epileptic gives off a scent. The dog senses that and responds. I believe that the diabetic issue is the same. It's with a smell. Anything else? Yes, ma'am.
Question, I just want to say thank you for what you do. I haven't been able to see it firsthand. Susie brings John every day to the, or John brings Susie.
Susie brings John is correct.
So he's done really well with Susie. They come to the DM center every day and they're on someplace like this and have lunch with us. And I think that the information it has brought to all of our participants that come to lunch there. We all know Susie. We all know what we can do with Susie, and it is and John come and work with us. But she is definitely part of our family, and in our veterans picture we do every year, Susie's in our veterans picture every year with us. So thank you for what you did, because I can see it firsthand. It's amazing.
Well, thank you.
Can you take questions after?
Yes, yeah.
And the dog maybe walk over here.
He's asking you and Susie to walk toward, maybe have dessert of some kind. One last question. Yes, sir. Hospitals, for our organization, that is defined as hospitality or some other kind of dog. Our service dogs are truly service dogs. Yes, to get in the VA, you have to present your certified service dog credentials. The VA will not, just had some rules changes. Oh, here's one. John carries his. John certified.
I took it out. Yeah,
John certified.
this is very important.
And the VA will not let you on campus, much less in hospital, unless you have some kind of a certification card, whether it be a comfort dog or a service dog. But that's very strict. One more.
We're out of time. We'll be,
I'll be back with John. If you want to come up and ask me some questions or other information, I'm available. Thank you.
sorry, Becky. Sorry, Becky, but Byron will be around afterwards so we can ask questions. So it's just got some club stuff we need to take care of real quick. So Rotarian of the Week. I'm going to ask Mr. Jack Pratt to come up and tell us a little bit about our Rotarian of the Week and see if we can guess who he is.
Well, staying with the theme of veterans, our Rotarian of the Week, I have the pleasure of introducing Major General Rob L. Walter, Jr., U.S. Army retired. Go ahead and thank you for your servant and leadership, and welcome home.
Very impressive, but very well deserved for a major general. And Rob, my favorite thing I took away from that from Jack was BS. Some of our texts and our emails that go back and forth, it's all in good military humor with each other. So Rotary Days of Service that's coming up. Oh, we get to do that. March the 26th, Lewis Hayes Park with Todd Odom. We're going to be doing a Lewis Hayes Park cleanup on the 26th, starting at 10 a.m. Is that right, Todd?
We did Christie talking, so we had to get a second crew, right? School to city. Green lights, so we decided it's gonna be 8 o'clock. We'll get there a little bit early, Lewis Hayes Park, have some food, some coffee, a few little snacks, a little fellowship under the bridge. And some trash. Bring your neighbors, trickle, let's go.
Perfect. Thanks, Todd. So for our online Rotarians, Saturday, the 26th at 8 o'clock in the morning, Todd Odom is going to be there serving breakfast and coffee and orange juice, mimosas, and leading the way with trash cleanup and park beautification. Going back to the general's favorite Rotarian project, the Veterans Breakfast. We will have the Veterans Breakfast starting at 8 o'clock Friday morning, the 15th. That is Good Friday. So we will be at the Veterans Center at 411 Meadowview, celebrating our veterans with breakfast. First responders, we have a week of first responders coming up. I'm sure everybody's seen our flyers that are being emailed, our participant encouragement to come out to River Hill Country Club on Monday, the 25th of April. Play a little golf, have a lot of fun, raise some money for our first responders. And then on the 27th, 2 days after that, on Wednesday, in the gymnasium is going to be our first responders appreciation lunch. That's when we recognize our first responders of the year, where we got pied in the face last year, and I'm probably not going to get to do that again this year. I want to. And so if y'all would, please put that on your calendars, plan to come out and support and play a little golf, raise some money for our first responders. I want to skip a few things because I know that Christy wants to speak. I know that Dave Rittenhouse wants to speak, but we have a little bit of more club business that I need to take care of. And first and foremost, I'm going to get the really, really fun part out of the way. Mr. Morris, are you wearing your Rotary pin today, sir? Oh my goodness. So you were the first one I picked out of the box. The second one I picked out of the box, I'm going to welcome back with open arms. And I hope she's wearing a Rotary pin, and I'm getting the look, and I don't think Quincy is, but Quincy Smith is back with us. So thank you, Quincy, for being here. So now we're going to dig deep. David Martin. Well, come on up. All right, David Jones. Commander, one type each. If I could, please. And Dave, get ready because you're next. We've been trying to do this for about 2 months. He comes, he sneaks out. So I told him today, you're here, you better stay for your Paul Harris +6.
Very quickly. This is kind of like oak leaf clusters. Except I paid for this.
I'm pretty sure he paid for his too. So. All right, let me see if I can read this really small print. In honor of your contribution, we've enclosed recognition pieces for you to proudly wear and display. Please take a moment to let's make sure it's all there, Dave. Come on up. I thought it was something special. And it is very special. So once you get to Paul Harris +8, it kind of stops. Because your Paul Harris is your first one, and then your 8th one is actually a total of $9,000 that you give it. Anything over +8 turns into a major donor. So for Dave Rittenhouse, major donor, #1, with a beautiful pin, something for your desk that you can proudly display when you're running Zoom for us. Major donor pin, sir. You're going to do your thing.
I need my props.
The prop people. They are.
I got 2 props.
That is a head cover. I need that for my golf clubs.
Okay, who wants which? Come on up here, guys. Stand on either side of me. No, come on up here. So everybody on Zoom can see you. No, I didn't say you were short, but you are short. Okay, so we are trying to restart after a 2-year hiatus. Josh the Otter. Who all here has participated already in Josh the Otter? Okay, you all know how much fun it is to go out to the schools and do that. So I am trying to organize a meeting for us to get organized. Okay, and I need some volunteers. So I sent out an email to everybody. If you would please let me know if you're interested in helping with this, I would very much appreciate it. We generally need at least 2, preferably 3 people to go to each one of the schools. We do the 2nd and 3rd grades at the various elementary schools around us. So thank you very much.
All right, twist my arm a little bit. Okay, there, I'll do it this. All right, so Rotarians and visiting Rotarians and guests. Paula, visiting us still from Sonora, California. Might as well just move to Kerrville. You're part of our clan. So. Mr. and Mrs. Simpson, correct, are visiting from Post, Texas. So welcome. Thank y'all for being with us today. And we met transferring Rotarian. I'm gonna let y'all stand up and introduce yourselves, please. Put y'all in the spotlight. No, you can do it right there.
I'm Mark Cook. I'm transferring to the North Carolina show chapter. It's halfway between Charlotte and Asheville. My favorite Rotary project I did was on River Hill Refuge. It's really big in the foster care. Gonna have 6 acres of land. As a city, built 3 foster homes. The kids were allowed in there. The perspective thought behind it was any prospective adopting parents who come out there with their first child, they had 57 others to look at. Some of the other projects we did was food bank. Those here was everything from like food bank with COVID. You know, we had a reorganized system. And this is Kerrville. This is probably looking for one chapter.
We just moved here, like you said. I was a police officer in North Carolina, so maybe back into it here.
We discussed that a little earlier. Clint Morris is the PR for the sheriff's office. So he might know somebody that you can talk to over there too. So, and they are guests of our very own birthday boy today, Jimmy Hutto. The world of Facebook doesn't let us down, Jimmy. Happy birthday. I have a guest today. She moved here from Omaha, Nebraska. She got out of the cold. She doesn't like being cold. She doesn't like snow. She came down here. We told her you're going to have a little bit of snow every now and then, but it's nothing like it. She was a premier realtor in Omaha, and she has joined the 4 Premier Properties team. And please welcome my guest, Tara Lagenza. Actually, you have a guest today, but his application is already in. We just have to get with Charlie to find out when our next orientation class is. We're almost there. Tanner Carlson. He's approved for membership. We just have to get him over that last hurdle with a couple of others so we can all get their badges. So welcome back. Thank you. And Carolina needs a barcode. So, all right, Christy, you have, oh yes, I'm sorry. Sorry about that, Doctor. I saw you and I skipped right over you. I was his punishment for his phone going off. So, all right. Christy, you have.
Well, to this week. I just had one thing. I thought it would be fun. First of all, someone did come up to me. I'm not going to say any names, but they came up to me and said, you know, in the old place where we used to meet, you had to thread through all the tables to get to the food. So you really did talk to other people in the room as you came in. You couldn't get to the food unless you did that. It was on the other side of the room. So, you know, you'd go by people and you'd say, hey, great to see you today. So glad you're here. I'll talk to you later on the way back, whatever. All right, so that's what it is. I just thought it'd be fun for just a second. I know I don't want to run too late, but just where you are, if I say something that you are involved in Rotary here, I want you to stand up. When I say something else, I want you to take one step towards the front of the room. So if you've been involved in these things in Rotary, this is what I want you to do, okay? So I'm gonna gonna have a person, at least a couple people, show us how we do that. If you are a sergeant at arms and you hear at every meeting to check people in, please stand up. Good. There you go. We got 3 of those, which means we could use some more. Okay. If you stay standing, if you work on the newsletter that comes out every week, please stand up. Very good. Okay, stand up. Judy, you're going the wrong way. Okay. If you work on the veterans breakfast, please stand up. If you work on the veterans breakfast, take a step forward if you were already standing. If you work on the Labor Day event, please stand up. That's the walk-a-thon. Yes, you were there. Stand up. Okay. If you work on Josh the Otter, take a step or please stand up. Coming this way. Highway cleanup. You work on that, take a step forward or stand up. Thank you. Rise Against Hunger. Take a step or stand up. 5th grade citizenship awards. Stand up or take a step. State hospital party. If you've ever helped with that, stand up, take a step. River cleanup. You just did that not too long. Take a step. High school scholarships. Stand up, take a step. The golf tournament. If standing. We're looking at doing an adoption picnic, if you're interested in that. Stand up or take a step. You're helping the water season Shriner, stand up or take a step. If you planted a tree in 2018 because of the big initiative, stand up or take a step. What some people are calling. You participated in our holiday party. Stand up or take a step. Our holiday party. If you participated in Rotary training, the district conference, any of those things, take a step. Blue Santa, stand up, take a step. Youth exchange, ever had kids stay in your home, stand up, take a step. Work with the kids in Interact, stand up, take a step. Work with the kids in Rotary, stand up, take a step. Work with Shriner, the Satellite Club, our Satellite Club, the new club that is made for the young kids, stand up, take a step. And if you have ever donated money to the foundation, stand up, take a step. That should be everybody, that's right. But this is how engaged our club is. You ring the bell for Santa. At Salvation Army, take a step, see? The blood drive, take a step.
Oh my gosh, we're out of room, honey.
Ryla, take a step. We have so much that we do in this community. And I'm hoping that everybody who's standing or has taken a step will continue, look around the room, pull some of these people out of their seats and get them engaged, pull them up. Gotta get them on a committee. We gotta get them doing stuff. Bruce, anyone who works on IT, come on, Bruce, stand up.
David Jones, you just got a +6. You should be standing for foundation giving.
There you go. All right, having said that, my last thing, I'm putting in $10. November 9th through 11th, right here, I'm right into you because you're new. See, it's close, you got some hot sand. Okay. November 9th through the 11th, here in in Kerrville. I'm gonna need volunteers help to move these people around, the people who come from out of town. I'm right now looking for sponsorships. I'm trying to keep the rate down. I know that most of you would not get a hotel, but we did get rates at the YO at $103 a night, which is a good price for that hotel. But the meals there are just a little pricey, so. Some people look about us to their homes, Carroll Homes is doing that actually. But we're gonna have it here. I really want a good showing. I want y'all to come. I want to have the price kept as down as far as possible by getting sponsors for different meals. I'm happy to say that as of today, we do have $10,000 from people who said they will have sponsors. So you get a letter from me, you already got a letter from me, and you can afford to help, that would be great. But we will have Rotarians in from all over South Central Texas. Because our district goes all the way down and around the heart of San Antonio. But we're gonna have conference here for our local. All right, thank y'all. Pleasure.
Thank you, except for Jimmy and Becky, who made it all the way to the stage. As a brand new Rotarian, as a birthday boy, y'all's prize for making it all the way up here is y'all are gonna be on the board year after next. And the future president. No? Okay, I'll try. So if now, since I just said sit down, if you would please stand and join me with the four-way test.
And if you got another minute, probably Easter egg.
Yes, Easter egg stuffing across the hall. We talked about week before last. Of the things we think say or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendship? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?